Okay, hey everybody, this is Andrew Cummings here with yet another Missionary Monday Live. And this one's going to be real special because, as you can see, I am not alone. I have here with me Pastor Brian King, pastor of West Windsor Baptist Church. West Windsor Baptist Church is one of our supporting churches in upstate New York. It's an outstanding church. We love going back there when we're on furlough, and they've always been behind this ministry. And so it's been great to have Pastor Brian King here with us. And actually, I've known him for quite some time, and from our days back in New York State, and watching him pastor church plant. And then about 7 years ago, he's at West Windsor Baptist Church. So I'm just going to jump right in. We're going to ask him some questions. He's been with us for a little over a week now, helping out with our Bible conference, our anniversary conference at the church, helping out. He's the main speaker, at our conference. And so he's had a time of riding around the island with us here and getting to know everything. And so I guess first, I was going to start with impressions, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Very happy to be here in Brazil. I'm Pastor Brian King. I'm here with my wife, Judy, and there's two of us here. We feel like there's more than 200 of us here. Our church sent us, supports us, praying for us. We really feel their presence here with us as well, and love these unique opportunities to serve the Lord, and this has certainly been a major highlight.
All right, so just so you know, on our Facebook page, so if you're watching this, most likely you're on our Facebook page, so you can scroll down and you can see all kinds of pictures of the conference, because we've been loading, just dumping pictures of the conference all day. Pictures and videos, people singing and so on. Our theme song was the song "Behold Our God," translated into Portuguese, and our congregation really did a good job. So you can check that out. But back to you, Pastor Brian. I'd be interested in hearing. I think maybe they'd be interested in hearing, because I'm here all the time, so I talk but you know, things that might impress someone else don't make an impression on me, because it's what I see every day. But I'm interested to hear what are some of your takeaways, the impressions that you had as you arrived and as you've been here this whole week.
Mm-hmm. So many. São Luís, beautiful island, beautiful city, and an interesting history. We've taken some time in the historical quarter of the city, and it dates back to the 1500s, and the Lord's sovereignty in that, in the early days and in all the days. Very interesting history here. Being in the many local churches, major highlight. To speak there, to meet with Christian brothers and sisters in Christ, and so much in common in our faith, in the songs we sing, and each church, the reception has just been terrific. We've loved that. Love getting to meet our brothers and sisters here. Love fumbling our way through Portuguese and watching them fumble through English a little bit. We try to kind of meet in the middle. It's English and Spanish. We do that. It's Spanglish. What is it with Portuguese?
It's called Português.
Português. Yeah, we do a little Português,
yes, Português
here over the course of the last couple weeks. And then 1 week ago today, last Monday, we went to a project that's very special to our church, which is the Christian camp that's being built. In proximity, it's pretty close on the map, but in traveling there, it's the long way around the world, so it's about 2 hours from here. But we went there and saw that, and the great work that's been accomplished already, and then the potential for what's ahead, a beautiful opportunity to be up there and just envision what's going to happen there. In our church, this has been a very special year devoted towards Christian camps. And in the Binghamton area where I live, we have 5 Christian camps within a 45-minute radius. And 2 of them are horse camps. So we're abundantly, ridiculously blessed. And we want that for our brothers and sisters here. And one huge thing is in Binghamton, we have a camping season that's basically the last week of June through the middle of August. And here, the sun never sets on camping season. It's a 12-month-a-year opportunity. So the chance to bring in kids to camp and ladies and men for retreat type events, there's almost no ceiling on it.
All right, so and one of the funnest things for us, most fun,
fun.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a second language for you, no worries.
We meet in the middle there with the Spanglish and anyway. So one of the most fun things for us was, of course, going out to the camp. But when people come down here, and those of you who have visited us here before, you know that when people come down here, we tend to fill up the schedule, and so there's lots of experiences. But I'd be interested to know if of all the things that have happened this week, what would you say is the most unexpected? You thought, you know what, I never thought this would happen when I came here.
Great question. There have been several.
The first one. Think about that for a minute. I got another question.
Okay.
When you come down, also there's several. Another thing is we didn't go over this beforehand, by the way, just so you know. But there's always a lot of interesting moments that are actually pretty funny, and so I wonder if you could think of a interesting, something that happened that was funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we've had a few of those. So
Lots of them. We got here on a Friday night, and then Saturday morning we woke up and went over to a Bible study breakfast, and it was a great opportunity. We had an extended family there, including 2 people who hadn't been there before that were unbelievers, and so it's a little novelty having a person from America. And the one guy just couldn't wait to tell me how funny he thought it was, the pronunciation of the word banana. And he just sat at the end of the table and kept saying, banana, and laughing about it.
Banana with a American accent, because you need to know that the Portuguese word for banana is, are you ready for this? Write this down. Banana. Banana. But he just thought that our pronunciation was so different, and just got a real kick out of that.
I can answer your previous question about
Okay.
the biggest surprise.
Go for it.
And probably the sweetest surprise, too, is the level in the believers here of their commitment to the Lord and to the church, just their genuine hearts and openness to the Lord, to us coming and being here with them, and the roots of the regular Baptist ministry here that dates back to about 1937.
Yeah.
And the fruits of that continue to this day and really multiply. It's a major thing. It's worth knowing about.
I have another question, but someone asked here it says, is Pastor Brian from Texas?
Oh, wow. I'm from New York.
From New York.
I'm from New York. Never been to Texas. My wife was born in Texas.
So Janice and she's from, I believe, down there in Florida. Mm-hmm. At least she winters there in Florida, in Lakeland, Florida. But you do have roots in Lakeland.
Yes. My wife's parents, long time in Lakeland.
A lot of people that watch this are from Lakeland, so you might want to just explain that a little bit.
Okay.
So explain your Lakeland roots.
Hello to everybody in Central Florida. We love Central Florida. In 1992, my in-laws bought a place there with the intention of being snowbirds. It didn't take them long to become full-time residents there, which they remained right up until my father-in-law passed in 2004, and then until my mother-in-law remarried and eventually moved back to upstate New York. So we love Central Florida. We love the Lakeland area. And particularly our church there was Heritage Baptist, and Pastor Boulay, and just a whole bunch of other people I already knew there, plus more people that we got to know there. Very kind to our family, particularly I'm thinking of the funeral for my father-in-law. We love Heritage. We love Sonnys BBQ.
Oh, yeah.
Always, that was usually my Christmas gift from my mother-in-law, would be a bottle of Sonnys sweet sauce or hot sauce. Good stuff.
Small world, because when we're home on furlough, of course, we're in Central Florida, and And the best, one of the places that I'm not going to say it's the best restaurant because, this is
So
why
many good ones,
this is why I came back to Brazil at over 200 pounds. But one of the great places is Sonnys BBQ. It's probably the same one. And we've been. Whenever I think of that, I think of Shepherd Road Baptist Church there in Mulberry, which is another one of my one of our supporting churches, and they would take us there. So when I think of Sonnys BBQ, I think of Shepherd. And my dad's on there now, and he says that Ling's Chinese is good too, which yes, indeed it is. It's a Chinese buffet. It's all you can eat. And it's just we got to move. We got to change the subject real quick.
Dad is heard from here. Yes.
So anyway, back to the trip here, and your time with us. You mentioned funny things, and this to me is one of the funniest. There have been a lot of moments, a lot of quotes, and so on. And one little girl came up to her mother, one little girl in our church, and she says, "Mother, I love the missionary lady," and she's talking about Judy, Pastor King's wife. "I love the missionary lady." And her mother said, "Well, that's good." And the little girl said, "No, Mom, you don't understand. I love the missionary lady. I really love the missionary lady." And Mom says, "Well, that's fine. You can really love the missionary." He says, "No, Mom, you don't understand." She said, "Mom, is it bad? Is it okay for me to love the missionary lady more than I love you?" So to say that this couple made a good impression is somewhat of an understatement. And one thing, and not to he's sitting right here, and so I'm not trying to puff his head up or anything, but both Itasiara and I have been really impressed with the way that both of you just really jumped right in to the work here, and you were both just even without me translating, I'd have to go do something. I'd look and I'd see Pastor King and his wife surrounded by Brazilian kids. And they were talking to the kids. I don't know, the kids speak Portuguese. Somehow they were communicating, and it was great. It was wonderful. And there was no hesitance. There was no, standoffishness. They were just right there, and our people loved it. And it was great. So, another question. When you arrived and you were here, you spent a lot of time with our church, the people of our church. If you could talk a little bit about what maybe you expected to see from the church versus what you actually saw in the church. I mean, you may have touched on that a little bit, but
sure.
Expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, part of it is I didn't know what to expect. From your prayer letters, I have some good ideas of some names and some people, but we came without a ton of expectations and just an open mind and an open heart. And you can't help but love the Brazilian people. Let me say that. You can't help but love the Brazilian people. They took us in very early, and we just enjoyed getting to know them. Some impressions that struck us were their hospitality. We arrived more than a week before the conference, so that actually allowed us to get to know many of the people, especially the adults in the church, ahead of time. They're great hosts, introducing us to Brazilian food, and a lot of enjoyment there. And the kids, there's a novelty to having English-speaking people among them, and some wanted to come up and say what they knew in English or to ask questions of us, and it was just a great experience. But I guess the impression that sticks with me from the church is just it has that family feel. It has a great diversity to it, reaching all kinds of people from around the city of São Luís. New people. There were new people at the Bible study we went to last Saturday, and then at the services. And all the services went well. Big highlight of the trip, really the centerpiece of why we came. But Saturday night, particularly of the meetings, that Saturday night, we just had one of those events, and those of you who are pastors or those of you who have a part in planning services know this experience that sometimes God just kind of answers every prayer.
Yeah.
Kind of blesses in every way. And the people that had been invited, they all showed up. The weather cooperated beautifully. I guess that's a given down here. We're at the equator.
And we're in the dry season, so
plus it's the dry season.
Getting rained on is not too much of a danger at this point. Yeah.
And the sister churches came, and each brought special music. The kids did a play. Our theme was The Reformation Continues. And so they did a play, and we had a great experience there. Jean Pedro, one of the kids, I fully anticipate he'll be the president of Brazil one day. He played the role of Martin Luther. And there's this tenuous moment where he needs to nail the 95 Theses to the door, and it wasn't quite working as he was doing it. And they had given him a Crabhammer, the very one I had used for lunch the previous day over at Pastor Franciovaldi's home. And so that was kind of funny. It helped Martin Luther make a major statement, and it helped me eat lunch.
Just to explain, a crab hammer is a hammer. The crabs, when you eat crab, it's served whole on top of a pile of rice. I mean, it's dead. It's not alive, but it's dead. And you take a little hammer.
Not for long, but it was dead.
Yeah. Hadn't been dead for long. It was just, but you take a little hammer and you break open and crack the shell and then suck out the meat. Well, that was the hammer. And as Martin Luther's nailing up the 95 Theses, I looked, and sure enough, it was a crab hammer that he was using. That's a historical detail of which I was unaware. However, and then he kept hammering it, and he wasn't actually nailing something in. There was tape on the other side, and it kept falling. The 95 Theses kept falling down, but they finally got it. It was great. The play went off just swimmingly. Our kids memorized just long lines, and it was wonderful. And also just going back to the whole food thing. I want the folks at West Windsor to know we took good care of your pastor that way. If he or Judy are going back hungry at all, it's their fault.
For sure.
Because our people kind of opened up their homes, and he had lunch, and every time it was something different. What was the strangest thing you ate the whole time you were here?
Question.
There was the crab. I mean, that's not something you have every day in the
And
US.
after we ate the crab, they brought out one of the live crabs to just walk across the table. They stuck a fork in its claws there, and that was really something. The surprise for me was that Brazilian food is not spicy at all. Not at all. And the meats and the fish are abundant. They're inexpensive. We like that for sure. And picanha, the cut of steak, very big here in Brazil. We love that.
And if you have not had that, you're missing out. Just let me throw that in there. All right, go ahead.
We went to the actual Brazilian steakhouse down here, not the thing they call that in the U.S., so we had a great time with that. And then the fresh fruits. Sometimes, like, the Cummings have a neighbor right here, and it seems every time he comes over or has us over in his yard, he's giving us one of the pieces of fruit right off his tree that just grew. Delicious stuff. We had cashew juice.
Yes.
Ever have that?
Yes.
That's almost like a milk. It's the color of milk, anyways. And that was a good one.
Yeah. Most people don't know that there's a cashew fruit, and it grows. Actually, the nut grows off the end of the cashew fruit. So, hold on.
We're
just
10 feet from a tree right here.
Hold on, just a second. It's totally unplanned.
Missionary Monday goes impromptu. And here comes, fairly ripe cashew.
Most Americans don't know this exists, but this is a cashew fruit. And this is the cashew nut, and then they dry the cashew nut and roast it, and then ship it to the United States. And the fruit stays here for us to eat. It's pretty good. And they make juice out of it and all that stuff. So, yes. And I remember you commenting at the steakhouse just how much the meat just keeps on coming.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
You've never finished a piece before the next piece comes.
If you are a vegetarian, not the place for you. just not. It won't work. So, anyway, I got to tell you, and I want to personally thank if you're watching this, personally thank the folks at West Windsor for sending Pastor Brian and Judy down. It's hard for me to put into words just how much of a blessing they've been to us, and just encouragement, being able to sit here on the porch with Pastor Brian and just shoot the breeze and talk about ministry and ask questions about Bible interpretation and it's stuff that I don't get to do with someone often in my own heart language. You know, I have some excellent colleagues here. We're going to be having lunch with them tonight, roasting some of the marshmallows you guys brought down. But just that, and also there's lots of other stuff. There's the interaction with my boys. My boys don't often get to interact with an American pastor closely, and someone who's obviously so interested in them, and that was huge. That was just huge for them. So, and our church people, I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. The people just love this couple to death, and if I were to say tomorrow, you know, Pastor Brian and his wife have decided to stay, they would be excited, and someone would make a motion. Pastor Andrew, why don't you step aside, let Pastor Brian take over? You just be the translator, and I'd be cool with that. So it was, you know, it was just a huge. I'm trying to express just how much our church appreciated, and just how much we appreciate it personally, being able for you to be able to do that.
Well, thank you. That road certainly runs both ways. You're an excellent host, and your family here, and your church, and I can't say enough. It's been a terrific experience, eye-opening in so many ways, and unique. Just giving us chances to do things we never have before.
Well, our goal when someone comes down is basically to keep them alive. So anything over that,
so we got a lot of bonus.
We're very happy. Yeah, everything else is bonus. So we're excited about that. And we're going to miss you guys tremendously when you go. Thank you very much for participating in this little thing here. It's starting to get dark, so we're gonna close off for now. This video is going to be up there, so if you know someone who wants to watch it, or if you're from West Windsor and think everybody else should watch it, it's going to be on Facebook, so you can keep going it. A couple closing things. Next Monday I'll be back. We'll talk some more about what's going on, take on some other subjects. Don't forget, wherever books are sold on Amazon, you can buy the Adventures of Missionary Max. This is the second book, Missionary Max in Lost City, Missionary Max and the Jungle Princess, which I don't have with me here at this table, but it's also available on Amazon. And if you like missionary adventures that are not autobiographical, I just want to point that out, clarify that. But if you can avail yourselves of those. Christmas is coming up. For the person in your life who likes missionary fiction, I guess that you can watch this. So, and then next time, and also perhaps I just want to say, perhaps you or your pastor would be interested in coming down. We love having people down here, and we love showing people the work that's going on. People tend to not leave the same way and not have the same perspective of missions that they did when they came before. So we love it.
Yeah,
and
I want to highly recommend that as well to every pastor out there, especially if you're already a supporting church for the Cummings. They just do a first-class job, start to finish, keep you moving every minute, give lots of opportunities. The time with the pastors down here, I mean, that's just been outstanding, a chance to encourage them and really to be encouraged in return as well. So thank you everybody for watching. May the Lord bless you and your families and your churches. West Windsor, we will see you soon. Looking forward to showing the pictures, sharing the stories. This is going to be great. We completely feel you with us down here. We know that you're praying and are supporting us. And have we got some stories to tell you?
All right, yep, and you can check out the pictures on Facebook. You can check out previous videos on Facebook. Thank you very much for participating here and for being with us. We look forward to your next visit.
All right.
All right, take care, guys. We'll see you Monday.